1968. Two of the Beatles, Paul McCartney and John Lennon, the songwriting Beatles, were interviewed in California. During the course of their conversations, Paul and John were asked how they approached songwriting.
We normally approach it on the M1.
And sort of come up, turn past London, and when we get to Scarborough, we feel we're there, as they say. But no, we just got a very informal approach. We've got no formula at all, you know, for writing songs. We just do it as it happens. Sometimes John can write a line of a song. He can come up and say... things like that. He could just say that to me and I could say, no, John. And
often I disagree with Paul and say, which has been done so many times, it's killed it.
But then sometimes, you know, we have a real row and I say, listen here, John, I don't think that's right. But it depends, you know. Sometimes there's a line that he does and then I do a line. Or sometimes John can write a whole song.
Can I?
Yes, oh, he's a wonder when he gets going. Sometimes I can even do that.
You can't.
I'm a bit of a club myself.
When asked about what he felt the future held for the Beatles, this was John Lennon's reply.
Well, probably we'll sell less records. Less people will go to see the film. We'll write less songs. We'll all die of failure.
No, that may be true. But the thing is, I think, you know, and if we suddenly sort of become a flop, then I think that we'll try to realise that we've become one and get out before we're real failures. You know, I mean, I hate this.
And John and I
hate
probably
this.
carry on.
We'll carry on songwriting, probably. In fact, he may say to me, one sunny day, la 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 la.
No, Carl's listening.
Actually, this is a lot of questions here from Beatle fans, but of course I only going to ask you a couple right now.
The first question you needn't ask me how many songs have you and John written. That's not really for me, is it?
No, I tell you. I'd like to ask you though, when's your next Beatle movie coming up?
Well, with any luck, we may start making it in January. We've got an idea, and there's a bloke now trying to write a script, but we haven't seen the script. We'll just hope the script's as good as the idea, which will remain nameless.
How did you like making the movie Help? Which did you prefer, the first one, Hard Day's Night, or Help? Did you enjoy most?
I enjoyed making them both, but I enjoyed Hard Day's Night when it was finished more. I don't know, I sort of got lost in Help a bit, you know.
Yes, you did in the film, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, you can see one question here. You always hear about Ringo's nose, but does anyone ever tease Paul about his innocent little boy face?
No, you get a few people saying cute and that, you know. Well, I mean, it's been quite nice the last couple of years. No one's mentioned my nose.
How do you feel now that you're married and being away from your wife on these tours?
Well, it's something I have to do, and, you know, we sorted that out before we got married, you know, that there's no argument when I have to go away because that's the job, you know, and so it's sorted out. There's never any problems. You know, I like being, you know, I can't say I'd rather be at home, which I would in one way, but, you know, it's a hard thing to say that you like being away from your wife, but I don't like being away from her. It's just that we've sorted her out, that touring, we split up for a while, you know.
How do you think of the reaction of the teenagers here today at your show?
Very good.
They were terrific. I think they were fabulous. But yourself, don't you think whatever the press might have to say or had to say in the past, the attitude's completely changed if anyone was to see you here today?
Oh yeah, well, in some ways it doesn't matter what the press say because the kids still will be the same at the show, you know. So that's the thing. But the thing is, if there's a lot of trouble in the press for months on end, then, you know, it can harm you.
When you're at home and you're away from all this, how do you sort of find yourself things to do to relax away from all this?
I just sort of sit around and play records and watch TV, or we go out to a club or for dinner or I just do what everybody else does, you know. I don't have anything super special to do.
Is there any looking towards the future? your little boy? Is there anything that you'd like him to especially do in life?
Not at the moment, you know. He's too young, really, to, you know. And I don't want to plan his life anyway. I want him to do what he wants, you know. I'm not going to say you do that or you will be this, you know. If he's going to be this, he'll be it, you know.
In other words, you like him to be just like any other young...
Yeah, you know, but that's one of the difficulties, you know.
How old is Zach now?
He's 11 months nearly.
11 months. A bonny lad, huh?
Oh, he's a big fatso.
Is he really? And how's, for instance, Maureen, is she a good cook?
Yeah, I think the lamb and chicken are her best.
Lamb and chicken?
Yeah, she's pretty
What's
good on the
your favourite dish?
Lamb.
Lamb.
In meat, you know.
Where are you living in England now?
In Weybridge.
In Weybridge?
Yeah.
Where John also is, right?
Yeah, just
that's
about
Surrey.
5 minutes from John, yeah.
That's where I'm from, Surrey.
Yeah.
Surbiton, Surrey.
Surbiton, yeah. My gardener's from Surbiton.
Oh, really? He does all the gardening?
Yes, he just keeps the flowers going. I like flowers and trees, you know, and things like that.
How did you...
Nature.
How did you find yesterday? Did you see the little incident when we had the bus stop for about 10 minutes outside the motel when Paul and George got out?
Yeah. What do you mean? Did I see it? What happened?
The two little girls.
Oh no! We sat on the back of the bus, and Wendy, Brian's secretary, went and got us ice cream.
Well, the two little girls were the most surprised in the world to walk by the bus.
Yeah.
One of them just completely stopped and fell over when she saw Paul McCartney there. And of course, when she tells anyone about this, they'll never believe
it. No, that's what we think. That I was driving home from town with Maureen one day, and this fellow was chasing us for miles, you know. Well, I didn't notice him till we stopped at some lights, and he pulled up and leapt out the car, and he says, "Paul, give me your autograph." I said, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah." And then he says to Maureen, "Patty, it's good to see you." So it was, you know, it was hilarious. He just got it wrong altogether, but you know, a lot of funny things like that.
Yes, it must happen to you a million times. About your last record here, the single, of course, Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby. Actually, is this record made for two sort of ages of people, young element?
Well, it was made originally just for the LP, but then Brian and our recording manager and people like that were talking to us and saying they thought that Yellow Submarine was commercial, and they wanted to release it as a single. And it's the first time we've ever released anything off an LP as a single. So we did, you know, and all it is a children's song. It's not deep, it's not anything, you know, it's just a children's song, you know.
How do you feel about the last LP, Revolver, though? Do you think this
I think it's the best
we've
made.
Well, actually, I like to wish you all the very best.
And I'd like to wish you the best of luck. You and your tie.
Thank you. And I hope you go on having success and happiness. I really do.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
George Harrison. What do you think of this, your latest LP yourself? You know, a lot of people, we've had big write-ups about it in our station, and they think it's fabulous, you know.
Well, for us, we've always tried, you know, really all we're trying to do is to do something good, you know. And I mean, we spend a bit more time with this LP just to try and generally make it better.
In other words, you're trying to improve yourself.
Yeah, naturally, because I don't think anybody ever during their lives ever feels as though they've done it, you know, and we feel exactly the same about our records. We make a record and we may be knocked out with it when we just first do it. But then when we listen to it a few times, we that it's not really as good as we think it is. And that's the thing that happened, you know. I mean, with Revolver, when we first did it, well, with lots of the tracks, we just really knocked out with them. But then, by the time the record's issued, we're a bit fed up with it and are looking towards the new one, which is good.
All right, George. Well, I won't keep you waiting anymore. It's just one more question I asked you. I believe in your latest LP, you're the chappie that's using the new instrument, the sitar. Is this right?
Well, I'm using the sitar, but it's not a new instrument. It's over 800 years old. Yeah, it's great. No, it's just a thing I've got interested in over the last year or so. Just got very interested in Indian music generally, and I'm just trying to learn it now. And the more I learn, the more I'll try and use it in our music as well.
Well, I think anyone that's interested in music, it makes them listen more so when something new is found into it.
Yeah. It's the thing, I mean, by me using sitar, maybe some of our fans will listen to Indian music, and then maybe, you know, those people will get interested in it, which would be good. The more people should hear it because it's so fantastic. You know, it's a pity that it's not very well known in the West.
One more thing, though, I know you've got to get away from the next show. How did you feel about when you first started off and you were, for instance, you were in Hamburg? How do you think on those days now?
Oh, they were great, and they were all... In fact, the Hamburg days were probably one of the most important times of our lives, because it was like our apprenticeship. We worked so hard, and we worked sort of 8 hours a night, 7 nights a week for 4.5 months in the first go. And we really got a lot of rehearsing in. You know, we just got the group going a bit, so they're very important. Yeah, it was nice.
It was nice. Well, thank you very much, George.
Okay.
I'm sure all your fans are going to appreciate these.
Okay, thank you.